Welcome to the San Jose State football press conference. Today is Monday, October the 14th, following San Jose State's 34-27 comeback victory at Colorado State. San Jose State now is 3-3 overall for the season, 2-1 in Mountain West Conference play. The Spartans have their second and final bye week of the season this weekend. San Jose State returns to action Saturday, October the 26th. It's homecoming. The opponent will be Wyoming. Plenty of tickets still remain for the October 26th contest that starts at 4 o'clock. Check in at www.sjsuspartans.com or call 408-924-SJTX to purchase your tickets for an exciting homecoming game. And now to recap last Saturday's contest at Colorado State and give a look ahead. Here is San Jose State football head coach Ron Caragher.
Thank you, Lawrence. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Tell you, I was excited coming out of that game. I thought our football players made plays, competed, they fought, they battled, and the timeliness of the plays was very big, whether it was creating turnovers when Colorado State was down driving and close to scoring, whether it was responding back. Lawrence Fan reminded me after the game there were four changes in lead in that football game. It's just exciting to see our players just continue to bounce back and fight and compete, and I was pleased with that. By no means was it a flawless game. We have a lot of work to do. I've said that ongoing. We need to continue to develop as a football team. But I do know that that's what I want this football team to do, to continue to grow and develop week in and week out, compete. And as we're finding guys where their niche is, where their role is, what they can do. But I was very encouraged. It was real nice to see. David had a great night the other night. The offensive line gave him a lot of good time. Speaking of the offensive line, I thought the run game was clicking good. The screen game was going well. The draw game, all those things were clicking nice, going in rhythm. And they all work hand in hand. It's really all interconnected from an offensive standpoint. I've always believed you don't want to be one-dimensional, so that was nice to see. But the resiliency in our young men, just keep coming back, keep fighting, keep competing, that was important. That was a nice win. And they're never easy. As I say, week in and week out, it's always a battle. But the guys kept doing it. So coming off that game, having a bye, our second bye, again, our players understand that it's important. We need to continue to grow as a football team. We need to bring along our young guys. We need to continue to develop depth. There's a lot of football left to be played. And so we went right back at it today. We had an up-tempo, a fast walkthrough or light practice, if you will, but back to improving as a football team and getting better. We're going to have 4 good practices this week, get them off their feet, and then come right back next week and really hone in on the Wyoming Cowboys, our upcoming opponent. But excited about that, encouraged. I just like this football team, how they are stepping up to the plate and competing. So with that, we'll go on to questions.
Basically, the midpoint in the season, halfway through, what's your evaluation of this team halfway through, and what you guys maybe, what areas are you going to key on that you need to work on for the second half?
Well, I think consistency, Jimmy. It's so important to be the team we want to be. We talk about playing 11-man football and everyone doing your job, and I think just being consistent. We've seen moments of it. Just looking at the defense, for example, the first half, we gave up some plays and had some challenges, but the second half, those guys really responded. We made the plays in the second half, and we held them on downs. And I think what really set the tempo that was the first series of the game, we kicked off and then we held them. And that was a nice statement to get the ball back to our offense. So really across the board, there's a lot of things. Assessing where we are halfway, you always have to have depth in this game because things happen in the game of football. And on that note, I'll just address Thomas Tucker's situation again. This is more in the last 3 weeks than I've dealt with in a lot of years of guys being carried off the field, and your heart goes out to the young man, to his family. But my understanding is it's being treated as a concussion, but all things checked out. The team buses went by the hospital afterwards. We picked him up, and the team was excited and fired up to get him back on board. But he's going to have to recover here, and we'll see where he's at. It could be a little bit, but it's just really the fundamentals of the game. We just got to go back to, it really all comes down to blocking and tackling and executing your plays. And so we're continue to stress those things, and coaches are going to be on the players and to help them. Sometimes you got to make them do what they don't want to do to be who they want to be from a practice standpoint, and so that's our goal. That's what we'll continue to do.
As a team, like specifically, what are you going to use this bye week on to prepare for Wyoming? Now you have 2 weeks to prepare.
Yes, and it's really balanced. On one hand, we as coaches are watching film, watching to see what they've done. They battled a really strong Nebraska football team and competed well. And we watched their other games, and we're bringing in, we're introducing some of their schemes to our players, but at the same time, we want to continue to develop the fundamentals, the things that good football teams do on a consistent basis. And as I said recently, we're getting closer, and I do think we're continuing to get closer as a football team to be where we want to be. So fundamentals. Introduce the opponent, and then at the same time really have our guys compete one-on-one, our ones versus our ones, so they compete at a high level, because that's what it all comes down to: competing, fighting, battling, never quit, never give up, and we want to keep that mentality.
So this week, obviously, the running game, we kind of touched on a little bit. Jared Lawson kind of is a walk-on athlete. Sometimes you never know with walk-ons if it's going to be a good thing or bad thing. In this case, he's been phenomenal so far. What are your expectations for him, and maybe what are your expectations for the rest of the season and his career?
Well, I tell you, I love the whole element of walk-ons in college football, and maybe it's where I came from. My college coach, Terry Donahue, was a walk-on. I played for a coach, Rick Neuheisel, was a walk-on. We had a nice storied tradition at UCLA with the walk-on program, and I think that's why we had good teams. And I've always felt that's an important element, and I think there's an element there that those guys are hungry. There's no sense of entitlement. They just work hard, and there's no science in evaluating talent. Just like you see the NFL, you see first-round guys that aren't in the league 2 years later. You see guys that are free agents that are starting. There's no exact science. Just the same thing happens in recruiting, and guys do get overlooked. And I love what those guys bring to the game. And what Jared brings is enthusiasm. He's a spark plug. I use that word. He's energetic. He runs hard. He gets knocked down, but he bounces right back up on his feet. And you got to love that element as a fan of the game, as a fan of the Spartans. So I continue to know we'll utilize Jared Lawson. The receiving side of things was exciting to see. Wasn't expecting that. He catches the ball fine, but have 100 yards in receiving was a very nice factor at the end of the day. But he runs the ball so well. He blocks. He really lays it all out on the line. And on that note, Tim Crawley, too. I mean, at the end of the game, Timmy had another great game. And Timmy's a walk-on who recently was awarded a scholarship. Timmy, at the end of the game, we had a third down situation. They brought the corner, blitzed off the edge. He made a miss. He made another guy miss, and he finished forward just enough for the first down so we could get into our victory formation, take a knee offense. And those two guys bring so much. And so it's exciting to see guys come in, work hard, set a goal, and to just what they bring to the table. And the other exciting note of that is these are two local San Jose guys. I mean, Jared Lawson's Valley Christian, Tim Crawley's from Bellarmine, San Jose guys, and I would think the San Jose community would be so excited about two guys that are homegrown, that have come to our local school and are doing a great job. And they're not doing it the easy way. Highly recruited, blue chip, 5-star recruits. They walked on and they just grassroots have worked their way up into the starting rotation. So excited about that element of what they bring.
When you see, like, especially the last 2 weeks that Lawson's had, does it make you say, hey, we got to find a way, maybe we don't have a scholarship right now, but we got to find a way to get this guy in?
Put me on the spot, Jimmy. Yeah, you know, I do. I'm a believer in rewarding those guys, and yes, we are full right now at this point in time. But I do believe in rewarding guys for what they've done, and that will be addressed down the road. But yeah, I just think I'm the type that I always keep a few in our hip pocket as a program, recruit extra walk-ons and keep a few in our program so that when those guys do a great job, you can reward them. It excites the team. They love to see that element, and it's fun to be on the coaching side of that too.
I mean, kind of keeping on the same topic, do you see down the road using Lawson more as a feature back, or are you more of a running back by committee kind of philosophy?
I kind of like going with the hot hand of someone, but we've got a few guys that really, like I mentioned, you know, Timmy made a great play in there, and Jared, and I think we all know it's the toll the game takes on these guys from a physical standpoint. You need a group of guys. I think you never want to go into a season with one guy. I mean, you know, let's look at our case. Tyler Irvin went down, and then after Tyler, Osiris Burke goes down, Alvin Jelks goes down, Jason Simpson goes down, and Jared was there, and tell you what, he seized the moment and took advantage of. Tim Crawley seized the moment. So we know that it could come full circle again, so we're always working guys, always developing them. Yeah, we'll keep feeding guys. You know, we have, you know, a little joke, feed the monster. You know, keep feeding them as much as they can take. We will do that. But we also know that different guys have different talents and abilities and really specialize in different areas. So we'll continue to utilize them.
So kind of staying on the same topic of offense, David Fales has kind of done it time and time again, even in games that you guys may not have come up with the victories. He still orchestrates that offense tremendously. What can you say about him?
Well, I'll tell you, there's been a lot of talk about the freshmen, the guys that emerged lately, but the glue that has held this team together, because the freshmen, this is, you know, they're young. This is a first time for them. This is new, and they're excited and chomping at the bit and ready to go. But the glue that holds it all together are the seniors. And you mentioned David Fales, and you know, for David, I just commend him. Let's look at what he came into this year. A new system. The expectations are so high set for him coming off last year's team. He lost some key teammates around him that were great supporting type players and an outstanding left tackle. So things change, but David has continued to have a great attitude and, you know, bounce back up when he's been knocked down. Type of thing. And so he's the glue, just like the guys up front, Nick Caspar, Ryan Jones, all those guys that just seem to bring their lunch pail to work and get after it. And regardless of who makes the headlines, those seniors, this senior class, is the glue that holds it together, and that's how I want it to be. But proud of David. He is continuing to grow and develop, and this is a great year for him from a developmental standpoint, because he's getting thrown everything that defenses can come up with. You know, all types of coverages, blitzes, all types of stunts that we're seeing that is really helping David to have to identify fast what they're playing and identify it and then react to it. So it's a great experience for him, and it's great to see him continue to grow as a player as the season goes along. John?
You had 2 7-minute possessions there in the second half, and probably not coincidentally, kind of after those, the defense got a lot of rest on the sideline.
It went nice because I think we saw the first series of the game. I think our guys got winded. Their first series on the defensive side, the altitude, and that's not an excuse. That's just what it was. We could have helped ourselves by getting off the field, but I think our guys were pretty winded that first early series. But as we got better drives, as you alluded to, the 7-minute drives, and they did in the second half got more third down stops and didn't allow the conversions. I think that helped them. That helped our guys from a conditioning standpoint. It's hard to train for that. I mean, we can't fly to Colorado and practice for a week. It's just unrealistic. But so our guys I think we're a well-conditioned team. It's just a different element at that altitude. So I was encouraged. The way we bounced back in the second half and the way we fought, the way we competed at the right time, it was all important.
A big victory for you guys and probably really good for the team morale, just kind of getting back in it. You guys are now 2-1 in Mount West Conference. You guys are now at 3-3 in the season. What do you feel like a win like this can help you guys going into a bye week and then coming home for a huge homecoming game?
Yeah.
And what is kind of the, I guess, morale with the team right now?
Yeah, I think momentum's a nice thing to have, and you can go through, and like I've said, we're still a football team that's growing and developing, and you can deal with lessons the hard way, where you have a tough loss and you watch the film and you learn, yeah, I should have this, or I could have taken this step, or whatnot, and that's a hard lesson. Or you can come off a win and still learn the lesson, and that was a battle the other night, and I think it helps this football team to getting some confidence, having that happen and being down 2 weeks in a row and guys come roaring back, and you get that feeling, that belief that you can come back when you're being down. So I was encouraged to see that. All the while our guys know, hey, we got work to do. We haven't arrived. We can. It's a nice feeling after the game. It's nice to have a mark in the win column, but we still have some work to do and continue to grow and develop.
You guys move into a new conference, especially one that's more prestigious than the previous one. It's probably a degree of needing to prove yourself, maybe to other teams, other programs. Winning back-to-back road games and getting yourself at 2-1 conference. Do you feel like that's part of what's going on here? That you guys are proving yourselves so you can compete in this conference?
Well, we know that our ultimate goal is conference. That's the biggest thing to compete for a conference championship, and we know these are teams that Colorado State, a traditional Mountain West school. Hawaii was a WAC school, but had recently moved over, I think, last year. Our guys know that, but it all comes down to just playing the game and competing and doing the best you can, and I think continuing to grow as a football team as the season goes on. And I think we learned some tough lessons early on, and our guys will continue to work hard and know we have a ways to go, but I like the progression that I'm seeing thus far.
Still, the last 2 weeks, even though you guys have put up points, red zone, getting touchdowns, and red zone's been an issue. Do the big play touchdowns kind of negate the red zone problems because you guys are, scoring those big plays?
Well, we work on it, we focus on it, and yeah, that's an area that we need to get better from, because there'll be some games up ahead where we're going to have to punch it in. And the challenge for an offense is it is a condensed field, and that's not an excuse. You have to be ready for it. You have to be able to execute that, and whether it's be able to create movement and come off the ball and do that, whether it's to be able to make a guy miss or run him over in the hole, those types of things, or get on the edge. We have the players, we have the athletes, I think, to improve in that area, and that's definitely one of the areas that we need to focus on is goal line and short yardage. The condensed red zone area, definitely we need to work on that, yeah.
The last 2 weeks, Keith Smith has had only 9 tackles, but is
Yeah.
that a good thing that the other guys, especially Tago and the other guys, are stepping up and a lot of different guys are making plays?
Yes, I think so, because some of those 18 tackles he was averaging, if they're 6, 7, 8, 10 yards down the field, that doesn't excite me. Someone's getting to him, but it's too much, giving up too much to the offense. So I do want balanced tackling across the board. Keith's a tremendous athlete and a team player. He does a good job in what he does, but I do want to see other guys come along, and I think Christian Tago has come along. At least I think it's apparent statistically he's made some plays, tackles for losses and sacks, and that's encouraging to see. Another young player coming along. I think other guys are doing a good job of supporting Keith as well on the defensive side, where they're able to make plays. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. A few other items of note. David Fales was selected as the Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Week. He also was recognized by the Manning Award as one of its Stars of the Week. And for those San Jose State fans, if they go on to the Manning Award Facebook site, they can vote for David. He's one of 8 candidates for the actual Manning Award Quarterback of the Week. And then finally in the awards category, David Fales and Jared Lawson were both recognized by the College Football Performance Awards program for their efforts last week. Jared is one of the honorable mention all-purpose backs with 202 all-purpose yards, and then David Fales as one of the honorable mention quarterbacks nationally for throwing for 431 yards. Again, next game is October the 26th, homecoming with Wyoming, 4 p.m. 408-924-SJTX is the number to call. Thank you very much.